All right, let's get started. Elaine is going to be our Dharma requester today, and I have lit the incense here, and I have my bell in my hand. So I'm going to ring the bell and invite everybody to bow with me if you care to do so. 我们请 Elaine 就发心，她来请法。那我就调眼镜上下，各位在你们的座位上可以心三温馨礼，来，一温馨，二温馨，三温馨。Elaine, if you would like to request Dharma, please go ahead and do it now.
恭请大德僧听，为此法会集一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，殊真无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly will fly non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao sambuddhoshe.
Namo salanto sujedoye alahadi samyao sambuddhoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的, thank you, Elaine, for the Dharma request. We appreciate that. I'm going to pick up a musical friend and going to help us make a request to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the Avatamsaka Assembly to draw near. 现在就用一个 banjo 这个乐器来帮忙我们迎请这个华严海会佛菩萨护法上身乾隆八部就莅临道场，祝福各位。来。 次。各位认识那个调子吗？朝拜万佛城，朝拜这个从大山门朝拜大殿，就是然后拜下去，起来。就是那个调子。That tune is the one that we use when we're bowing from the mountain gate at City of 10,000 Buddhas towards the Buddha Hall. It's also the 3 steps 1 bow tune that we used as well. Here we go. We want to say that we acknowledge the Pomo people who practice spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here on their ancestral land for tens of thousands of years. We acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就是说 Pomo 人在他们祖先的土地上修炼着他们土地后万物的精神联系已有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事的人，并且向他们过去、现在和新兴的长老们表示敬意，以及主权从未被割让，所有第一民族人民们表示致敬。Indeed. And we conclude our opening ceremonies with the bell song. Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法仰望一国中，共寻其法界和平，利益报他诺后德。可不是嘛？一定的。Okay, here we go. All right. So, we just had a serious rainstorm that blew up out of nowhere, and I was afraid you wouldn't be able to hear my voice because of the sound of the rain on our metal roof, but it just stopped and the sun is out. So I'm going to open the doors. Excuse me one moment. Be right with you. It's going to get hot in here otherwise.好的，刚刚下大雨哦，声音好大啊！忽然刮起来了，就忽然停了，现在又照出太阳来了。Okay, 好的。Welcome to everybody here. Let's see. Our host, our Master Yong, is here. City of 10,000 Buddhas. Elaine was our Dharma requester from Round Rock, Texas. Let's see here. Vivian is here. Aling is here. And San Jose and Okanagan, Washington State, up there. Stockton. Barbara's here, and Barbara Ernie. Binxin from Shanghai. Celeste from Hong Kong. Connie from Sunnyvale. Let's see here. TM is listening from City of 10,000 Buddhas. Glad you're here with us. Hope you enjoy these lectures. Let's see here. The great Sangha meeting went off without a hitch. We appreciate the hard work. Duke Leban from Montreal, welcome. Florence is here. San Jose, the Hong family. Let's see here. 还有浙江海宁就说有北京、湖北、黄冈。Gwen is here from Dublin. Guo Hong is here. Let's see here from Guangdong, from Cupertino, Liaoning, from Sacramento, from Columbia City, Oregon. Well, how about that? That's way up north. Okay, let's see. Jane is here from Berkeley. Jason from Sunnyvale. Santa Clara. Jason's in Santa Clara. Seattle. Jin Rocher is here with us. Good. Chayo is here. Professor Boo from Seattle. Our family is gathered. That's great. Glad you're all here. Katie from Union City. Kim doesn't say where Kim is from. The Yip family, Mr. Yip. Let's see, probably Mr. Yip from New Zealand. Lan Win is here. Linda from San Francisco. And Mai is here every week translating. Let's see, Mai from San Jose. May is here. Good. Michelle from Vancouver. Welcome, welcome. Win, okay, I know who that is. Petter is here from Oslo. Good. Samantha, Sangfu, and the Sito family from Malaysia. Let's see here. Xiufan Liu from San Francisco. Tina from Oklahoma. Tam from Oakland. Val, I know a couple Vals. That might be the City of 10,000 Buddhas Val, or it could be the South San Francisco Val. Welcome in both cases. Let's see here. DRBA Vietnam translation. Cheng Wei Hua from Beijing, friend. Willie from Virginia. Iwan is here. Okay. Mr. Deng is here. Ivan from Malaysia. 然后呢，我们就求福分台北，欢迎欢迎。内蒙古包头汤山、河北、上海哈尔滨还有杭州丰家3位深圳、北京、辽宁、黑龙江淮南，那是湖南从湖南来的，没说哪里，湖南哪里辽宁OK 云林台湾去过云林，知道了。黑龙江、浙江、蓝海，黑龙江、苏州、新北市非常欢迎。陕西福建、泉州、湖南淮南市、包头、内蒙古、北京、唐山很多从唐山来的，大家有佛缘在哪里？重庆四川，好的好的，包头还有哪里是北京、浙江、南海、海南，就是说还有北京 Kelly is here good 黑龙江吉隆坡洛杉矶哪里广东朝阳市山东深圳上海台北 good 罗国庆欢迎非常欢迎 OK 那么so you could really learn how to pronounce Chinese geography from just running through our attendance list. Isn't that good? I think that's terrific. 就说就念一次我们会员所在地呢，就可以知道中国各地方。新疆比较少就说云南比较少，不过等一等可能会更广泛的缘分。Alrighty, let's take a look now. Where are we in our sutra? We are in a series of vows. Bodhisattvas are making vows. 菩萨在发愿。我们大家愿意的跟我合掌，合掌为什么呢？这说表示尊敬这些人能发这些愿力。这个誓愿真的是我们人类最 高尚、最不自私的、最值得尊重的这个念头，就是菩萨现在发这些愿。So I'm going to put my palms together and read these vows. And why do we put our palms together? There's a sense that humanity reaches its zenith, the highest point of human evolution in the Bodhisattva from the Mahayana tradition. The goodness represented, the selflessness, and the altruistic heart is rare indeed in humanity, and here it is on full display. So, 佛子菩萨摩诃萨复作是念：我为一众生故，欲令阿僧祇世界宝相充满，气质具足，性机调顺，上为金床，金王弥覆。种种妙宝而为庄严，一用布施。愿令阿僧祇世界宝马充满，如龙马王，种种众宝庄严之具，而演示之，持用布施。愿令阿僧祇世界妓女充满，悉能敷作种种妙音，持用布施。Okay? Disciples of the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas further make the following vows. May I, for the sake of a single living being, fill asankhya's of worlds with the treasure of precious elephants, complete with their 7 parts, docile in nature, golden banners streaming above them, draped in golden nets, adorned with an array of exquisite treasures as offerings. May I fill asankhya's of worlds with the treasure of precious horses, like the dragon horse king, all adorned with various kinds of treasures as offerings. May I fill asankhya's of worlds with the treasure of court ladies who can play all kinds of wonderful music as offerings. All right, take a look here. First 3 vows, there's a series that follows. What do we have here? We have elephants, horses, and probably the word would be courtesans, I suppose, entertainers. It mentions women, but not limited. So what is this? These are 3 of the 7 treasures of a wheel-turning monarch. Chakravartin, Zhuanlun Shengwang in Chinese. We used to say wheel-turning sage king. That's purely Chinese. Zhuanlun Shengwang, wheel-turning sage king. It's a monarch. It's a deva. But they can also be in the world. They can be worldly. But if you become a Chakravartin, one who is a king, a ruler who's able to do this turning of the wheel, 7 treasures come to you on the spot as a result of heaven and earth celebrating you as the rightful should-be leader and ruler. Pretty amazing, but they say it is the case. So here's what I think is fascinating. What this says, and there are other places in the sutra where it repeats this, it's when humans do things right, heaven and earth, the non-human parts of the world celebrate. And you don't even have to, it's not an emotion, it's just, this is right. The blessings are complete. Another one of those things is anointing the crown of the head with oil or water or some precious substance. That's something that people do spontaneously worldwide at a certain point of gaining authority. Isn't that interesting? So let's look at these 7 things in just a minute. 各位看看我们先讲下去，就说菩萨复作是念，就说发这个愿，我什么什么什么一用布施，愿什么什么什么一用布施，我愿你什么什么什么持用布施，持用布施。菩萨愿意做供养，他愿意布施 3种东西。第一是什么？大象，向往 ，elephant， 一个就说最大的陆地上走的动物。他说：“我为一个众生啊，我愿意令二生七世界宝相充满。”当然，我们现在象这个大象，在印度可以看到，在非洲可以看到，其他的地方不是动物园看不到的。中国当时也有了，就是最东南部。然后讲得好详细，气质具足，性机调顺，不会爆裂。上位金床，金王弥富。哦，这个大象非常庄严，种种妙宝而为庄严，一用不是。所以呢，奇怪，菩萨愿意把，就是说大象是这么普遍，他愿意布施，大家点点头，是的，是的，好，我们可以接受了。你有多少只啊？我们多少只？你个男的女的会不会生孩子？小象好可爱，这个普遍的哈，奇怪。第二呢，他说还有我愿意布施什么宝马，宝马充满，如龙马王，种种中宝庄严之具，一言是之。他愿意布施马，就详细就说入龙王、龙马王，就说那个时候还没有高速公路，还没有这个汽车种种游览车摩托车这个就有马，大家要走得快的话，要骑马或者坐马车，所以马也是普遍的。然后有好的马，他说我愿意把最好、跑得最快、就是令人尊重的马，我都愿意布置这个给你。哦，可以了。第三呢，就说妓女，妓女是说弹音乐、做音乐的你就让家庭，让这个做生意的人，让外国来的大师啊，听到音乐呢，大家都和乐，就心里很满足，就用他们来做布施。OK， 这是什么呢？你们各位知道哈，转轮圣王的7种的宝物呢？你听说过？就说7宝，转轮圣王的7宝，就说天上的转轮圣王，地上的转轮圣王。上位的时候，过这个仪式真的上座，就位，就说天和地庆祝，天和地就赞叹，送来自然而然送来7个宝贝。第3个，第1、第2、第3就是象、马、妓女。玉女也叫玉女啊。等一下，我们继续研究。Okay, I skipped over the text. We should look at the text. You're going to have to wait. I have a large bird making noise out here. This is not lunchtime. Sorry. So the Bodhisattva is making offerings here of these things. I talked immediately about the 7 treasures, but let's take a look here. He says, may I for even a single living being fill worlds with the treasure of precious elephants. How interesting that in the Avatamsaka world, when this was first spoken by the Buddha, elephants were so common that this was an acceptable gift. Everybody would not blink at someone giving a gift of wonderful quality elephants. How interesting, right? Now in our world today, you can find elephants in India, elephants in Thailand, elephants in Africa, pretty much anywhere else, you have to go to a zoo. We have reduced the number of elephants in the world. But at the time the Buddha was in the world, elephants were an ordinary thing that one might expect as a gift, but these are quality elephants, and it really describes in detail what they're like. With they're complete in every way, docile in nature, not aggressive or mean, not dangerous. Golden banners streaming above, draped in golden nets, arrayed with exquisite treasures. Okay, just give elephants. What would we do now? Probably we'd give SUVs now, right? Probably a quality electric SUV. May I fill the Sankhya's worlds with the treasures of precious horses. The second gift is what's called the Ma Bao. And it specifies that these are dragon horse king type horses. So before the invention of the internal combustion engine and now the electric engine, horses were the premier way of travel, either on a horseback or in a carriage pulled by a horse carts. So to be able to give away precious horses, wonderful horses, special quality horses, great gift. So the Bodhisattva wants to give those. Next, third, he says, can I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with court ladies? Now, what does this mean? It's not, it's inappropriate to use sexist, misogynist perspectives on a text that emerged 2,500 years ago. It was a different time and a different culture. You can look through that lens, but you don't get as much. If that's all you see here, then you've missed the point. The point is, if you're a wheel-turning Chakrabartin king, and you are suddenly, your court is filled with artistic, sensitive, refined entertainers who can delight you. If you're, let's say, a diplomat from a foreign country, you hear the music, your heart is made soft and kind. If you're a family, your family is bound together by happiness at the sound. If you're a ruler or a king and you have these sounds, your day is joyful and better, and your court is has the soul of the country. So music and entertainment is an essential part of court life, of social life. So the Bodhisattva wants to give them away. He says, wow, really good gift. Okay, now, I'm going to step away briefly from the text to bring up this document in a moment. There it is. So what do we have? We have, it's the wrong document. Right there. What are the 7 treasures of the wheel-turning monarch? Here's the idea. This is so interesting, that when you become a Chakravartin, spontaneously in the universe, something happens, and your arrival on the throne is celebrated by these things appearing in the world, in your court, around you, because of your blessings at being selected as this new leader. The women, the jewel of women, the jewel of jewels, the jewel of wheels, the jewel of elephants, horses, soldiers, and elder advisors. I remember Master Hua would just delight us by running through the list of 7, and he would describe them. So let's see what the let's see here. Okay, here we go. We're gonna find out what the commentator says here. This is not 师父's commentary, but it's similar. 就说现在我记得上人介绍这个专门圣王七宝的时候，他会解释很有趣，他会讲一下这个你人有资格真的可以当转轮圣王，自然而然，大自然界这个就说环境，就是天和地就会送来这些东西，因为你的人类的福报够了。OK， 然后 let's see what they are. Let's start with, let's see. The jewel of women, that is to say, be nu bao shan, their bodies emit a fragrance, different kinds of fragrance. They are delightful. Let's see here. No flaws in their character. They're just so wonderful to look at. Okay, and then it talks about how when they appear, you think of your mother as the finest example of femininity. So there's a purity involved. There's no jealousy. There's no nastiness involved. The treasure of 大家可以看到这个女宝So let me before we get involved in that, that's going to take too long. The point that I want to make is that this is a spontaneous emergence of the environment celebrating humanity, one aspect of humanity. And that's what I think is fascinating, is Chinese philosophy talked about heaven, earth, and humanity as a trinity that supported each other, and each of them had to do their part in this synergy for life to be good, for life to be right. And here is an opportunity to see that at work. So when things were good, when things were done well, nature would generate these signs, and one of the signs was the presence of these seven precious things. 各位想想看而且呢，这个华严经也那个不同的品就会讲到这个转轮圣王的七宝，所以这不是单单这一品所讲的。就是说，中国古代就有这么一个说法，就是说天地人三合为一，有人在天或人在灾难临头，是因为人没有负责任，我们就没有做我们应该做的这个部分。如果我们人就说天子啊，或者国王做的正正当当的正大光明，那个时候天和地就会满他们的责任，他们的部分，而且就说一切的老百姓就没幸福，就会很幸福的生活，快乐。那个时候，这个领袖如果是国王的话，他真的有福气，就自然而然都会出现这七种的宝物，证明他应该说是有天命这样子所以是神话吗？这是古代的一种 fairy tale， 就是传说吗？不是， 真有这么一回事。那因为没有，反而就有灾难，就有地震，都有森林烧火，都有飓风啊，种种的海啸啊，证明我们人离开正道太远了啊。So the idea, and these stories appear in different places as well. This is not the only place. We can find it in the sutras and other parts of our Avatamsaka, where the 7 precious things emerge. And the fascinating thing is, they are signs that things are going well with the human leadership part of our Trinity. And the blessings are spontaneous, and people are doing what they should do. So heaven and earth do their part, and spontaneously these signs appear. When, in fact, we are far away from the path of righteousness, you can draw your conclusions. At that point, what do we get instead? We get earthquakes and tsunamis and forest fires and typhoons, etc. So, and droughts and famines. So, just to say, the sutra once again gives us a standard by which to measure. So, how are we doing? We have aspects in American society now that are trying to do away with fact, to do away with principle, to do away with truth. When nothing is true, then anything goes. And whatever the leader says becomes truth. There is no objective standard by which you can measure truth. Well, the sutra says there is, in fact. It hasn't gone anywhere. Take a look. Here's the sutra. Here's the standard. This is what you measure by. 这个经典有一个好处，就说它给我们立这么一个标准，就说人没有改变多少，黑就是黑，白就是白，红、绿、黄就没有变了，就是我们人走得太远啊。那么就说有的在现在的政治方面要让我们随他们的意思，就说没有真实，没有一个标准，所以如果是这样子呢，不可相信专家，不可相信知识，就说真的假的都混，就不正确。那个时候，那就听那个人所说的，就以为他怎么说就真的，那就危险了啊。其实，在那个情形之下，我们研究经书就说，对了，也有一个标准，人类可以做的，往好了做，往善的做，改恶向善就对了，就可以了啊。所以我们研究经书就是为记得那个标准。Okay, Celeste is giving us some standards here. Excellent. There we go. Yep, that's Shrifu's commentary. Yeah, very entertaining. Okay, there we go. I realized as I moved into that commentary that is probably we're better off with Shrifu's commentary, no doubt. All right, let's take a look at our sutra again. Because why? We only get the first 3, but then the Bodhisattva's vows expand. 那我们回去经书就说第1、第2、第3就是7宝。接下来呢，不同的愿力来，愿令而生起世界男女充满持用布施，愿令而生起世界已满己身充满发菩提心而用布施，愿令而生起世界己头充满起不放逸心而用布施，愿令而生起世界己眼充满而用布施，愿令而生起世界己身血肉及一骨髓充满其中心无故练。 启用布施，愿令阿僧祇世界自在王位充满其中，持用布施，愿令阿僧祇世界奴仆坐使充满其中，持用布施。菩萨摩诃萨以如是等种种诸物，尽未来劫安住广大一切施心，是一众生如一众生，尽众生界一切众生皆如是事。There we go. Take a whole page and take a look. Here we go. Where does he go next? May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with men and women as offerings. May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with my bodies and bring forth the Bodhi resolve to give them as offerings. May I, without any laxness, fill the Sankhya's of worlds with my heads as offerings. May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with my eyes as offerings. May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with my blood, flesh, bones, and marrow as offerings, without any sentimental attachment. May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with sovereign kingships as offerings. May I fill the Sankhya's of worlds with attendants as offerings. Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, firmly established in their resolve to practice universal giving, give various articles to a single living being to the end of future eons, and just as they do this for a single living being, they do the same for all living beings throughout all realms. Okay, so somebody could rightly look at this and go, ooh, whoa, where did it go? Is giving away men and women? Is this human trafficking? Giving away your body? Giving away your head? Giving away your eyes? Giving away your blood, flesh, bones, and marrow? Wow. Is that legal? What do you do with the infection? How do you disinfect when you're giving your eyes away, making sure that, yeah. So you don't want to take this entirely literally, although the Bodhisattva could do so literally if required, if that was necessary. Instead, the way to look at this is understand that it could be entirely literal. The point is to say, even up to the point of giving away the thing that we attach to the most, which is our, obviously, comfort, our physical comfort, the bodies that we inhabit. Bodhisattvas have a longer view. They look long at lifetime after lifetime and know that when your intention is to benefit others, to what? To cross them over, to convince them that you really mean it, that you really do want them to accept the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha as their refuge, you will take it down to the mat, as they say. You'll really practice what you preach. This will change the mind of living beings. This will make them, shake them awake out of our kind of narcotic slumber of comfort and ease and entertainment and pleasure. When they see somebody who says, yeah, you want my head? Fine, I don't care. I'm going to give you anything you want so that you will believe in the Buddha Dharma. People go, oh, that's different. Maybe I'll pay attention. So I think that's the point. This is Avatamsaka sincerity, which is to the bone. It really, bodhisattvas really mean it. They know that if they can give away their bodies in the service to the Dharma, they will come back better next time and more able to do it. That's the point. 好的，各位，千万不要误会哈。菩萨在这里说，我愿意把男女布施，这并不是把人生做买卖的，不是。他愿意布施他的身体，愿意布施他的头，愿意布施他的眼睛，布施他的骨髓啊，这个血肉，这不是 就这么说 literal， 就不是实在去这样做。可以，如果到时候需要这样做，它可以的，甚至于可以这样布施，是这个意思。因为华严经啊，是给我们认识菩萨不是开玩笑，在这度众生，他都愿意，需要什么他什么都可以布施，如果众生需要的话，是这个意思啊。就说甚至于自己我们一般的放不下的东西，就是这个身体各部分都可以，需要的话都可以，连这个也可以布施。所以我们要知道《华严经》的菩萨，他就是愿意用任何财产、任何的物品，能令我们睡醒了，就让我们觉悟了，知道菩萨愿意度我们是真的想度我们，那他都可以的，他可以不是这样的，是这个意思啊。这个呀，最后呢，他说这个我愿意就把这个王位就是权力最高的权力，他都不是。然后就说这个奴仆做事就可以的，这些 butlers and maids， 你的家庭的大厨，或是你那个司机，这个如果有的话，连这个都能舍为众生，所以菩萨什么都可以布施，就为的众生。最后呢，就说菩萨摩诃萨亦如是种种诸物，尽未来劫安住广大一切施心。这样子，我们多数的人舍不得的，不能布施，他能布施，他什么都可以的，就是要我们接受，然后发菩提心就可以了。So I think it's really important to say again that bodhisattvas are not, this sounds so extreme, doesn't it? Such an extremist, this giving away parts of the body and giving away others' bodies too. Hey, thank you very much. You gave me away. Huh? Did you ask me first? So this is Avatamsaka style emphasis. And it sounds extreme. It's clear that the bodhisattva is not attached to anything. What he wants to do, what she wants to do, is have us wake up. And if it means cutting off parts of the body because that will help you, bodhisattvas could do even that. Now, most of us don't get that far, don't we? Do we? Pay it forward. Buy a cup of coffee for someone. Pay a bridge toll. Pay it forward. That's hard to do. That's remarkable. Leave a gift for someone when you can. This is extraordinary, and it'll make someone's day. When you, a little bit of generosity. Bodhisattvas are doing big generosity, and their point is to bring us closer. This is one of the gathering in dharmas. The dharmas of gathering in is generosity. It really does work. 当然，华严经就到这个几步，到那个就是几段。一般来讲，每天的，我们会不会 pay it forward？就把一杯咖啡送人家，或者到了这个高速公路的付费那个地方，就后边那部车你已经付好了或者就说有机会送礼物，就 送礼物，不要等谢谢。这样做的，受这种布施的人都会觉得，哦，这个这么好，就很温暖的感觉了。很少很少能这样做，何况菩萨就把自己的身体能做布施。所以我们就知道《华严经》是怎么清楚，这么清楚。So our Avatamsaka Bodhisattva tells the story very clearly, right? Okay, let's take a look. 佛子菩萨摩诃萨于一世界尽未来劫修菩萨行，以是等物施益众生，如是起施一切众生，皆令满足。如于一世界于尽虚空变法界一切世界中悉亦如是。let's see. 如于一世界于尽虚空变法界一切世界中悉亦如是。大悲普覆众物间悉，普加哀悯，随其所需供给供养，不令施行欲愿而息，乃至不与一贪之情生疲倦心。Disciples of the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas cultivate Bodhisattva practices within a single world to the end of future eons. Just as they give all such articles to a single living being, they give the same to every living being, satisfying all without exception. Just as they do this in a single world, they do the same in every world, throughout the Dharma realm, to the ends of empty space. They embrace all with compassion, never resting for a moment. Benevolently caring for every being, they bestow gifts based on each one's needs. They do not allow their practice of giving to be interrupted by any conditions. They never become weary, not even for the length of a finger snap. Okay, what comes to mind as I read this is the power of giving. We don't emphasize it enough. We take it for granted in our daily lives. And when you read the Avatamsaka here, you're reminded how rare and special the power of giving is, and how it is the basis. This is the foundation. The gap, the wealth gap, there's a more technical name for it. Disparity, is that what they call it? Income disparity. So the idea between the richest and the beginner, the richest and the new hire, the CEO's salaries, that the non-awakened, the greed world, the marketplace where greed wins, and wealth is meant to be accumulated by the powerful. That's the opposite of wisdom, and it is the source of social destruction. One of the reasons why we live in such a polarized world is precisely here, because giving, generosity, this practice of giving, is not celebrated. We live at a time when it's accepted, it is the standard that the rich and powerful take as much as they can. And year after year, we've seen this phenomenon happen that I'm going to unshare here. There we go. Oh, I wasn't sharing to begin with. There we go. Okay. We've seen this phenomenon happen where, there we go. The phenomenon is that the wealth of the world is concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, right? You guys have to shout at me when I forget to share my screen, okay? Otherwise, you have to make sure you tell me that. Otherwise, I'm going to be picking my nose here or something and not knowing that you're all not seeing the sutra. Okay. So don't hesitate to open. Let's see, you can't open your mics, can you? All you can do is make it shout. All right, I'll try to be better. So for the last couple decades, we've seen the wealth be concentrated in fewer and fewer families. So I think I don't have the latest statistics. You can't see? That's right. You can see my face, right? If you go to, up in the corner of Zoom, go to speaker or gallery, you can see me. I'm here. My camera is on, you can see me. Up in the corner of your screen. 你们的右手边这个屏幕的这个高边那个 up there，你们可以看到 view， 在 view 你可以看到 speaker， 那么就出现了。Hi. If you look at view and you can look up there and then you go to speaker, you'll find me. Okay, we watched how in the last couple decades this phenomenon has happened. It used to be, I think they used to say, there was 100 families in America and around the world that had the wealth of every other country combined. So if you add up all the wealth of the rest of the world, there you go. There'd be like 100 people who had the same amount of wealth. And then year after year, those numbers decrease so that now it's something like in America, there's fewer than 6 individuals whose combined wealth equals the rest of the world. And of course, if you look at it as in a vertical way, that when there's no strength below, it topples. So if you apply the principles of generosity, of giving in the sutra, the way the Bodhisattvas described here, if you apply those principles, think about how simply sharing food, something essential, sharing health care, medicine, something like sharing housing, for those who have so much, to be able to reduce their wealth by a little, it wouldn't even notice the missing amount. And then everyone could have the essentials and then get on with becoming educated, with becoming responsible citizens, staying out of jail, learning trades, working to keep the planet turning. All of the good things that could happen once the basic needs are met. But what is so disturbing, I think, to everyone, we feel it spontaneously, that we know there are people on the street who do not have shelter, a roof over their heads, who do not have food, our own relatives, when they're sick, have to choose between medicine that they need or some other basic essential. That doesn't feel right. That is disturbing to the soul, and it contributes anxiety and discomfort and unhappiness in the world. And yet, simply by following the Bodhisattva's principle of generosity, we can set things right. 就说最近几十年，我们都会看到这种财产的不平等，分享这个财产，分享金钱就不平等。20年前，我们就说有200家2户家，他们的财产集中等于所有世界的财产更多了。比较起来，对不起，我的中文现在不行哈。然后呢，再过10年了，那这200户家就变成6个，现在6个人，你把他们的钱放在一起，那就等于所有老百姓、所有的人口的财产合起来，也比不了更多。这种是立不住的，为什么？如果重在上边，慢慢的它就塌下来了；如果轻在下边，结果呢，我们不必问旁的，我们心里已经知道，有人连饭够吃就没有的。我们不用钱给人健保，身体的健康保险也不给有的人就在外边 睡觉就没有屋顶了，无家可归的，我们都不忍于心。所以社会现在很多大家不满意，就不愉快，因为无形之中不知不觉知道有人跟我们有缘的人，就这个衣食住就不够了，那我们就不忍于心，心里不平安了。用华严经菩萨这种基本的道理，就说菩萨继续布施，继续布施，不停地布施，把这个布施做他的基本的行门，就自然而然，就自动的，我们就把这个心里烦恼、这种心里不满、心里不快活，这种的感觉都会解决了。这么简单，可是呢，不愿意，我们就不愿意做。So when it comes around to Christmas time, there's this stories of giving, and the news has a file of a few stories they pull out. And it's so warm-hearted. Oh, look at how wonderful this is when somebody practices generosity. And yet, here's the sutra. What is it saying? Bodhisattvas do it in a single world, and they do it in every world, to every living being. They embrace them with compassion, never resting for a moment, benevolently caring for every being, bestowing gifts based on each one's needs. They don't allow their practice of giving to be interrupted by any conditions. They never get weary of it, not even for that long, a finger snap. Who says the Avatamsaka Sutra is lofty philosophy that we can't understand? This is just basic common sense, and yet we don't do it. If the sutra was better known, if more people read it and understood it, how could we continue celebrating selfishness and the accumulation of wealth at the expense of others? 办不到的。你看菩萨这样子，就说在一个世界对一个众生就这样子布施，何况一切世界所有的众生这样子布施进去空变法界一切世界中就会这样子大悲普覆，众无间隙。菩萨继续布施，他就把这个布施这个行门做他的基本的道理、基本的行为，普加哀悯，随其所需，供给供养。如果我们就这样做这个世界一下都会往好了改就大家会过平安的生活就菩萨不令施行欲言而喜，乃至不与一贪之情，就这么快生疲倦心可是这个热闹这个市场里就说为所欲为，我是大富翁，你一定要听我的，我有钱，我有权利，颠倒，不愉快。All right, so it seems so obvious, doesn't it? Can we read the minds, and then we have stories to tell? Let's read these minds. There are 20 minds here. Bodhisattva's thoughts. 我们就继续念菩萨的心中。佛子菩萨摩诃萨如是施时，生于此心，所谓无着心、无福心、解脱心、大利心、神圣心、善摄心、无执心、无受者心、善调伏心、不散乱心、不忘记心、具种种宝性心、不求果报心、了达一切法心、住大回向心、生觉住一心、令一切众生住无上智心、盛大法光明心、入一切智心。Disciples of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas give in this way. In these ways, they bring forth a mind free of attachment, an unfettered mind, a liberated mind, a mighty mind, a profound mind, a mind that brings everything together, a mind free of grasping, a mind that goes beyond the notion of a lifespan, a mind that skillfully brings about harmony, a focused mind, a mind free of calculation, a mind replete with various cherished qualities, a mind that does not seek rewards, a mind that understands all phenomena, a mind residing in magnanimous dedication, a mind that clearly discerns all principles, a mind that leads all living beings to abide in unsurpassed wisdom, a mind radiant with the great Dharma, and a mind that realizes omniscient wisdom. So all of these different kinds of minds, the fun part about this is what? I've got one, you've got one. It's talking about in the West we go here, in the East we go here. It's the mind that's listening to the sutra right this minute. It's this mind. That's what the sutra's talking about. It's not philosophy. It's not long ago and far away. It's right this minute. The sutra says, Bodhisattvas, pay attention here. This is the deal. This is the important part. We want to focus on our minds. And for example, how do you get to a mind free of attachment, unfettered, liberated, mighty, profound, brings everything together, free of breath? You get there by what we do with our 6 senses, particularly the other 5, the mind being number 6, when we're going through our day. One way to index what we do with the other senses is what are we dreaming of at night? One of the things about dreams is that they reflect what we meet when we're not sleeping. So if we want to, not always, there's a lot of other things that happen with dreams, but one index is if we're troubled at night, maybe it's what we're doing with our senses during the day, if we're restless and can't sleep. So that's true too. So, but here is the mind. It is this mind right now that the sutra is talking about. And look at the potential. The sutra says bodhisattvas, now this is the 7th transference, so it's down the road a bit. This is not a beginning bodhisattva state. But if we cultivate the way, this is what we can expect. And a mind that is like, that has just one of these qualities or a handful of them is a mind that is, number one, not depressed. A mind that is not suicidal. A mind that is happy to be alone, can be alone without needing too much distraction. And just think of if that was me, if I had that quality in my life, it's a result of a mind that was cultivated. Pretty much everywhere on earth, if you take some soil, some ground, add amendments, they, potassium and phosphorus and a little bit of ash and some water, and make the big chunks small and make the small chunks fine. Then you plant down the appropriate kind of vegetation. That planet will grow whatever you plant. And if you take care of it, you can get from the planet Earth crops that you like, be it flowers, be it food, be it fruit, be it grass or whatever you like, or trees to make the planet breathe. That's true almost everywhere. If it's sandy soil, desert, then there are things that grow. You add the right amendments. If it's the north, you plant root crops. If it's the equator, you plant things that love the sun. So that's true. The earth is like that everywhere, and the mind is the same. If we cultivate our mind the way the sutra says, look at what we can bring about. You can discern principles. You can understand everything, all phenomena. You can lead us towards wisdom. You can be radiant with wisdom, and you can recognize how to solve any kind of problem. How wonderful is this? It's true for all of us with this very mind. So again, What did Master Hua say? He says, Avatamsaka Sutra is about psychology. It's the sutra of living beings, the sutra of the mind. It's the sutra of wisdom. It's profoundly underappreciated. Indeed it is. 看看大家那么多心是讲什么？你的心，我的心，当下现在这个心就是讲这个。在这里呢，就说菩萨摩诃萨他布施的时候，他生于这些起来生产什么慈心，然后告诉我们无着、无福、解脱、大利、深深、善摄、无知、无受者，善调伏、不散乱、不忘记、具种种宝性。不求果报，了达一切法。哦，你看那个了，诸大回向，善觉主义，令一切众生诸无上智，盛大法光明，入一切智智。这个心是你的心，我的心的未来，我们的前途。如果我们修行布施，你看谁不要这些功德呢？哇，我们都要的。就上什么？上这个大地，这个地球，无论我们在哪里，东西南北，上半球、下半球，如果我们把一块土壤，然后加一些肥料，浇水，然后种下你所要的种子，差不多每个地方都会生产这个可以吃的蔬菜，可以饮的、可以抽饮的高树，可以种下美丽的花朵。就这个地，无论我们在哪里，过去、现在、未来，就可以种菜、种花、种树、种草。心也一样的，你的心，我的心。过去的人，未来的人，如果修这个心的话，都有这些德行会出来的，这是肯定的。怎么有人就说，哎呀，华严经不要讲，这个哲理谁能懂呢？你不懂吗？我懂。OK，华严经对了，包括最高的哲学，可是呢，他现在劝我们用功修这个心，这样子能利自己，利益全世界所有老百姓，所有众生。Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, hey, story time. Story time, story time, story time. What kind of story? We have a great story for you today. We have the story of Master Xuanzang coming right up. Oh boy. Remember, we left him last time in Kucha. And I'm going to give you the whole interaction here between Master Xuanzang and a monk advisor. He's sort of a monk. He is more of a guru, I think, in the country of Kucha. And he has worked his way into the confidence of the king. So the king really likes this guy. And obviously, this is a person of some significance here in the country of Kucha. So we get to find out about him, and he is rude to our hero, and our hero sets him straight. That's what's coming up. I'm going to read you the whole thing. 现在选藏法师了，去那个龟兹国，龟兹叫什么地方？Let's see。就说屈之国有一个师傅，是不是出家人不清楚，是国王。这个屈之国王很尊重他，这个人是有地位，是有权利。他呢对玄奘法师不认识，就对他看不起。结果玄奘法师就应该说讲清楚了。是这么一回事。来 ，several tens of people 有高昌人数十，就是跟大师从高昌来的，一驱逐出家。他们不是，他们已经到了那儿，可是他们从那个高昌国以前，就是已经到了这里，别居一寺，寺在城东南。依法师从家乡来，先请过宿，因救之，王公主得各换。Several tens of people from Gaochang were present. This is where Master Shenzong just was. They become monks in Kucha. They lived in a separate monastery situated in the southeast part of the city. The master had just come from there, and these are places there's not a lot of travel between them. They invited him to spend the first night in their monastery. He accepted. The king and the monks returned to different places. So he's got friends, and he stays with friends the first night. 明日王亲过宫，备陈供养，而师有三敬。法师不受，往生怪之。法师报此见教所开，而玄奘所学的，大乘不尔也。受欲别时。So on the following day, the king invited the master to his palace and served him food. The food consisted of 3 kinds of pure meat. Ooh, the master didn't accept it. The king thought it strange. 神怪之. So the master explained it was allowable according to the gradual teaching, but he is a Mahayana Buddhist and I don't eat meat, he said. Then he took other kinds of food. So, okay, some people would say, when in Rome, do what Romans do, but if you're a precept-holding monk, you have learned to be compassionate to all things. And if you have choices, you don't need to eat pure meat. There's no reason to eat it. Okay. 各位看看，大师到哪里？到了皇宫受供养，这个七只国王把3斤肉供养他，他不吃。这个国王就说：“哎，怎么呢？你不接受我的供养吗？”他说：“哦，对了，那个3斤肉是没有其他的东西可以吃，好比说1万丈、1万尺高的山，1万尺以上的山。”根本没有蔬菜可以吃，那勉强可以了。如果你有选择，你可以吃素的话，你就不要吃肉。我是大乘佛法、汉传佛法的一个弟子，所以呢，我就是这样做的。网友各位僧友，时期过程西北阿舍利尔寺，是木叉居多所住寺也。居多理事贤敏，彼所众归。由学印度20余载，随摄众经而声名最善，王继国人先所尊重，号称不度。见法师至，突以可离代之，未以知法为许。未发使曰：“此土杂心俱舍毗婆沙等一切皆有，谁知足德，不犯其舍，受见心也。”法师报曰：“此有语切论否？”具多曰：“何用问世邪见疏乎？成佛弟子者，不学识也。” Trouble. After the meal, he went to the Acharya monastery in the northwest part of the city. Here is where Moksha Gupta is the perhaps the yoga teacher, or he's the big guru there. He was a man of intelligence and cleverness. He was respected as a teacher by the people of the country. He'd gone to India. He studied for 20 years. He learned all the Buddhist scriptures, but he was conversant in the Shabda Vidya, 生命学. That's one we talk about the Wu Ming Xue. This is literature, basically. The king and the people respected him as a unique person. When Master Xuanzang arrived, Moksha-gupta kind of ignored him. Ordinary guest. He didn't consider him a Dharma master. He said, in this country, we have the Samyukta Abhidharma Hridaya Shastra, Abhidharma Kosha Shastra, and the Vipasha. They're good enough for you. You don't have to trouble yourself to suffer the hardships of traveling to the West. Take it from me, he said. So Master Xuanzang says, do you have the Yogacara Bhumi Shastra? Moksha-gupta says, why do you want to know about that heretical book which no Buddhist would care to learn? Oops. Insult the Bodhisattva path. Yogacara Bhumi is the story of the Bodhisattva. 10 stages. Oops. Trouble. 法师出身静之，其闻此言，视之有土。报曰：婆沙居舍本国已有，恨其礼数言浅，非据经说，所以故来。欲学大圣于切论，而有余切者。是后神菩萨弥勒所说，今为邪书，岂不惧无敌王坑乎? Okay, here comes the lion's roar. You ready? At first the master respected him, but on hearing this he looked down upon him as dust. He said, we also have the Vibhasha and the Abhidharma Kosha, but I regretted the doctrines in those books were superficial. They were not ultimate teachings. So I came with the intention to study Mahayana, Yogacara Bhumi Shastra, spoken by Maitreya Bodhisattva. You say it's heretical. Aren't you afraid of the bottomless hell? Slandering the proper Dharma. 比曰：婆沙等，如所未解，何谓非身？法师报曰：是尽解法。曰：我尽解。trouble。哎呀，糟糕！你看这个人功高。法师其言：居舍出文问，法断其妙，引更穷之。4岁变动云：如梗问于处。Moksha-gupta asked, how do you know the Vipasha Shastra and the other books are not profound, since you don't understand them? Master asked in reply, do you understand them? Moksha-gupta says, sure, I understand them all. Arrogant. The master, to interrogate him, asked him to quote the first passage of the Abhidharma Kosha Shastra. Moksha-gupta made a blunder at the beginning. The master asked him about the other passage, which he was unable to explain. OK， 又是一问已不通，曰：论无此有。时往书至月出家，一皆经论，始在旁坐。其正言论有此语，乃取本对读之。其多积参云老忘耳。又问余部。He became sullen and said, ask me about another one. That one didn't work. Give me another chance. The master quoted another passage, but he would not explain it, saying that Shastra doesn't exist. That passage in the Shastra doesn't exist. 没有啦, he said. The king's uncle, Jnana Chandra, who had become a monk and knew the scriptures and commentaries well, was sitting with them, said, actually, it does. There is that passage. And then he brought the book out and he read it. Moksha-gupta was ashamed of himself and said he had forgotten it due to his old age. The master asked him about other books, but he also could not give an explanation. 哇，你看这个功高，因为玄奘法师不但到了这个屈之国有这么一个交代，在中国一样的，所以 他离开长安，就埋头苦干，遇到这么多的困难，这么多的就生命的危险的情况，求法。因为这个老一代的在中国一样的说，哎，你年轻人懂什么？你不懂。玄奘法师就说，我知道有这个瑜伽师地论，还有这个就说瑜伽论呢，所以我必须要去把它接回来翻译这是我们国内的经书不全或者有漏的，所以呢，我就到这里来。这个老年人呢，Moksha他是不懂的，他年纪大的，他那么多年没有上玄奘大师过来的人，他真的与众不同了。所以，遇到这种情形，大师就说真话，那个老年人好像低头了被变倒了。So the situation it's embarrassing because here is this old guy who in the country of Kucha is considered extraordinary, and it's because why very few travelers come through. But even if they come through, there's nobody to compare with Master Xuanzang. In China, it was the same. There's an older generation who were the bosses, they were the experts, until this extraordinary young monk came along and said, I know in India there are books that if we can bring them back, we will be able to understand the proper Dharma, Yogacara Bhumi Shastra. And they don't exist here in China. And he got the same reaction from the old timers back home. So Moksha is not to be blamed for when there's a small pond and you're the big fish, and here comes a giant ocean traveling fish who is going to go to India, bring back sutras and shastras and teach us the Dharma. Of course, he is embarrassed. And he learned. We're up against the Mahayana Deva. 就遇到这个大乘天，或者他们怎么样管他叫Mahayana Deva， 就是大天人在印度称呼玄奘大师说他是菩萨再来，所以当然他就要低头了Okay, so great story. How Master Xuanzang put this elderly guru to shame on the spot. He was able to teach him that when you're a big fish in a small pond, there are other ocean-going fish that can tell you the truth and become your teacher. Okay, good lesson. Let's dedicate merit. 我们就回向功德了。Okay, here we go. We can be like the bodhisattvas and dedicate merit. 那我们就效法华严经上的菩萨来回向功德。Share the fruits of peace, hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion 为我。May all whose sorrow you carry, may this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Let us bow to the Buddhas. 我们向诸佛菩萨顶礼三拜，三问心礼。Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. All right, that'll do it for us for today. We'll see you all next week. 我们就到此为止，下个礼拜再来。阿弥陀佛，拜拜now.